Hello world, welcome to Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow. Stay tuned because we have John Fortin, a super VIP and special guest. Stay tuned. Hello world, welcome to Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow. Maura Abad here with another episode bringing the latest on asset management. We are here to learn and to educate one another. We want to make sure that when you review this important information, you can also pass it to others and take action. With that being said, we want to welcome a special guest, John Fortin. Welcome.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here today.
The Association of Asset Management Professionals, AMP, is super honored to invite you. This show is created with the intention of spreading knowledge on asset management. Tell the world, who is John Fortin?
Yes, so I'm a mechanical engineer. I went to a military school. I got involved with asset management at the second largest water utility in the U.S. Called Massachusetts Water Resources Authority, where we started our journey and we learned a lot about what worked and what didn't work. From there, I became a consultant, helping other people learn and educate and hopefully win some awards. And I published a book in 2016 and then again in 2018 about change management and how to help people go from that on that journey to actually win awards. So it's been a pleasure. I've been able to travel the world, helping clients. I'm now at a small drinking water utility, helping them win awards. But it's been a great opportunity to really learn from a lot of people around the world on this journey, what to do and what not to do.
And that's what we want to hear today. But the first thing is the basic concept. What for you is asset management?
Well, I think when I ask some of my clients that, they just basically say, well, it's taking care of your stuff, man. And so it can be as simple as that. I mean, it can get very complex as well. But I guess it's understanding what you own, what condition it's in. Do you have a preventive maintenance program for it? And do you have enough money to repair and replace it when you need to? So it can be very basic, but once you try to answer all those questions, there's 2 or 3 other questions you have to answer. So it gets complicated very quickly. But in a nutshell, it's taking care of your stuff, and that includes your people and your technology and your SOPs, not just the physical pumps and motors and valves that we own.
Now let's tackle people. How do we enhance that people and tell them we must use asset management? Is a demand, is a statement, is a conversation, is inquiry? How do we bring along people on asset management?
Oh, it's a great question. I think one of my clients would say is everyone's on the journey. So I think being respectful of where people are on the journey and understanding that it's very important from the get-go. So some people understand asset management, they've been doing it. Some people are new to it. So understanding where they are in that journey is helpful. And as a manager, what I like to do is I like to offer them books. There's some great books out there. There's great conferences out there. And it's a matter of really making sure that you lay out a roadmap of where you want to go with folks. You train them on the terminology and educate them. I like team-based approaches to implementing programs. So you've got different departments in the organization coming together to solve problems around risk, reliability, life cycle management, but bringing those folks together to learn on that journey. So there's no real silver bullet, but I think training and credentialing is important so you all gain a knowledge and understanding of the language.
I've seen you leading successful programs. In this case, what would you tell organizations that perhaps they don't see themselves there, where they should start? What will be your piece of advice?
So we'll talk about it probably later. I have a book. It's called Why Execution Fails and What to Do About It. And there's a model in there called Delta Force. And really, it's D is to define where you want to go. E is in vision, so setting that vision statement. And then having executive sponsorship along the way. And so with that, once you have that, is having a journey roadmap. And what I've seen successful is if you treat it like a program, and I'd say like a capital construction project, we have a project manager, a scope, a schedule, a budget, and you have outside resources, it can be really successful. So in my situation, I actually was that program manager. And so I had that dedicated position to not have to go back to email and phone calls and get sidetracked. So I think it's helpful that once you have that executive sponsor that wants to make that move and a vision statement, that you have a dedicated person to help make that a reality, like a construction project.
Exactly. Now, tell us a little bit about your own pathway. You mentioned your career, but did you really have like a real pathway that I said, okay, from 5 years, I'm going to be over here into the asset management? Did you crafted what events, what people to meet? Tell us, how did you crafted your own asset management plan?
Well, that's a great question. My own asset management plan. I was very fortunate that I worked at MWRA Deer Island in Boston, and I was there during design and construction. And I left and I became a manager in an engineering company. And then they created a program called the Asset Management Program. And it was in the strategic plan. And they were hiring a program manager. So we had 5 consultants came over from South Africa, and they actually lived and breathed and had coffee with us every day for 5 years. So they were embedded with us. It wasn't that they flew in and flew out. And so that terminology, we just talked about it in the coffee room, at lunch. And I was a young man at the time, and we were all just really interested in what this term was, because it was new. There was really nothing out there yet. We learned about reliability center maintenance. So from there, I became so excited. We won an award, and then I jumped out and I had my own consulting company for a few years, and I helped colleges and pharmaceutical and hospitals, and they all had that same journey phobia, I guess, but I was educating them, and I think I just really liked it because I'm an engineer. I'm a people person in many cases. I like to solve problems, and everyone was on that journey, and so just helping people move along. And so I joined this consulting company, and they asked me to lead a group of 35 people to help companies around the world win and win awards. And so it's just always been a passion since that first opportunity at MWRA, where we were able to lead the team to win an award there. And then it's just been such a passion for me ever since.
Yeah, and you're so passionate. I love this story that what comes to my head is consistency. These people, they just didn't leave. They stay with you. Right. It's that reinforcement. And when you talk about change management, what do you want to tell us? I know we can spend all day about change management, but right. A piece of advice, especially with this awareness on asset management to our audience and how to implement this change management.
Right. Well, I think, first of all, you have to have some executive sponsorship that want to actually support such a program. It's one of the key elements. If you don't have that, I tell people, well, if that's what you want to do, you might want to look for another job, because it's very frustrating. I've been talking to people today that, they've been trying to do this. It's like the tide, it ebbs and flows. And so, well, so I was fortunate to be in a few organizations that they really wanted to have that because of the value it provides. So I think I would say executive sponsorship is important. Having that vision statement. I think training and credentialing is super, super important. You can have it at your office, but having people go out to venues where they're offering training. And I do a lot of peer exchanges. So even though I'm in the water business, I've gone to visit oil and gas, I've gone to visit pharmaceutical, because we all have pumps and valves and motors. And I think being able to see what other people are doing and learning, you build friends in the industry. And I think that is super important. And the last thing I would say is tracking benefits. So if you get on the journey, you got to track the benefits you've made so you can report to management this has been worth the investment, because many times you have to hire experts to come in and help you with that journey. So having those benefits documented, I think, is important, that you can show the return.
Exactly. We need to get all the facts of the matter. Tell us a little bit about in your personal life. How is John Fortin's life? How do you relax? What is your time management advice for all of us? Because you do many things. You're talking that you have done a book, you might want to do more books. What piece of advice you have for us? Because we all live busy lives. At the same time, we want to learn more about asset management, but we want to have these life and work harmony. Right.
It's a good question. I think, today with having MS Teams available, there's actually a lot less travel, which is good to hear. I'm saying I'm on the back nine of my career, right? So that's towards the end. What I'm personally doing, and I've been sharing it with my friends, is I love my work and I work hard, but I pace myself. which if you've said many times is pace yourself. And so I've taken up hobbies that I think are going to be life hobbies. So I took up golf, I took up oil painting, and I'm doing dance with my wife. And so those are things I'm able to do after work and on weekends and say, I have to go home. And so I've been able to do that. And really, with the life balance, work-life balance, I think having some of those important things that you can do the rest of your life, maybe outside of work, can help you say good night at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, it's like disconnect to reconnect.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, the world now, digitalization, artificial intelligence, where do you see all these fitting with asset management?
Whew, yeah, well, where I am at my current organization, we're very antiquated. So I haven't had a lot of opportunity to think about where we're going to go because we have a lot of old equipment that's not even really connected. But I see the value, talking to peers, of really the machine learning and where that can be, the value of artificial intelligence. I mean, there's people see pluses and minuses. I think it can really help us out in the long term with all this connectivity and all the information we're collecting from assets. It's got to be useful to something. We've tried to do it in the past with human beings trying to manage and measure. We got too many different reports where I think this IoT and Internet of Things, I think it's great, an opportunity for a lot of people. Me right now, unfortunately, we're not set up to do that, but I see it's going to be exciting for the industry.
And then talking about learning and the pathways that we are crafting for the learning in each of our lives, I do recommend the book, Why Execution Fails. I won't tell much because you do need to discover, as John mentioned, but my question to you is, what are the books or materials that have impacted you on the search and quest on asset management?
Oh, that's a great question. I recommend Ramesh Gulati's book, Maintenance and Reliability Best Practices, Ron Moore's book. I've got a few leadership books. I probably have a dozen leadership books. I think John Carter's book on leading change I had a lot of training in that, and then my book builds upon the learnings from his work and what I've learned. I think Ramesh, if you're going to be in the maintenance and asset management space, I really like Ron Moore and Ramesh Gulati's book. And of course, the condition monitoring work by Jack Nicholas has been fantastic. The 10 Rights of Asset Management that Terry O'Hanlon and Ramesh collaborated on. I've got a library of books, and my goal is to really pass it on to the guys at work, the younger generation, because a lot of them I've read them a number of times, and I really want to pass that on to others. There's so many good books out there that are available, and so I guess I would recommend those few to get started.
That's a great start in the beginning, with the 10 Rights on Asset Management. I remember I learned the types of assets. They're just a basic concepts, but that's where you need to start, with simplicity and communication.
Right.
Now, we want to have a call of action to the audience, that call to action that is going to allow them why companies should care to start, if they haven't started, or to continue on the journey on asset management. What would you tell them?
If they're interested and you have executive sponsorship, I would start with what I would call a gap assessment or an assessment of where you are in maturity. There's very simple ones that are out there. There's some as many as 50 questions, 200. I've done some international benchmarking for folks that it's upwards around 800 questions. So it depends on where you are, what size organization you are. But once you've done that assessment, understand where you are from a maturity standpoint, a good consulting company will put you on a pathway and don't expect anything less than 2 years of engagement. Most times it's 2 to 5 years, depending how big you are, how complicated of an organization you are. And so that pathway or that roadmap, you've got to stick to it. You've got to invest in it. That's why executive sponsorship is important. That's why having a project manager is important, is to keep them on task throughout the journey. Making sure you layer those trajectory actions in the right way, because some people might put them in the wrong order. And everyone's unique because they've already started in certain areas. So I think for people that have won awards and are really successful, they have done that assessment and they understand where they are. They've got the executive sponsorship, they've trained and credentialed people, and they have a roadmap, and they're measuring the successes and even failures of the roadmap and learning as they go along. So I guess that's what I would recommend.
John, on behalf of the Association of Asset Management Professionals, Asset Management Visionaries, thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. I have to tell you personally, I've met you 11 years and counting. And every time you come into a room, you're really light. And I want to acknowledge that because it's so important, your spirit, your energy, and all that does matter to communicate a message.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
for everything that you have done for the community. We're looking forward to know and learn more from John Fortin. Stay around, follow us with our different areas where we're located, the Association of Asset Management Professionals, and more. Share the information, and the most important thing, apply it. And remember, always smile. We'll see you soon in another episode of Asset Management Visionaries Shaping Tomorrow. See you soon.